Okay, I'm going to open a project solution. This is one that was emailed to me. Okay, there. Anytime you have trouble with code, if you just email to me, I'll work at the beginning class. Show what potentially I would see as problems. Okay, so order this amount. We've got an employee discount and $4.99 shipping coupon. I'm gonna click start. By the way, there's no shame at all in your code not working. My code doesn't work all the time, so that's part of the learning process. So never hesitate to send item to me. Okay, click calculate. I get an employee discount, and then $4.99 shipping coupon. Okay, so I click this. Shipping discount that. Okay, here's my price ordered as double. Big part here, and assuming that's our order amount, totals equal total times quantity, is don't want a D here. So you don't need to put a D there. If I had to guess, that's probably the main issue. Okay, so ordered one, calculate 35.98. So that's taking our 25.99 times our quantity, which is one, and else totals equal to total. Now here, if you don't change the value of total at all, you don't even need that else. So I can get rid of that. Change is not allowed while the code's running. Okay. So I get rid of that. If the check ship then you add discount, add shipping. Discount is $4.99. Shipping is $9.99. Okay. Then I do the $ and total. Make it visible. Yeah, that looks perfect. Because you multiply this to get your amount, and then the employee discounts in percent form, so give them a 10% discount, which I think is what it said here. Well, it doesn't say, but. Now, the numbers seem real huge before. Maybe I put in a wrong value. Let me do this again because I'm wondering if these are okay there. Okay, they're fine. I just didn't realize what large quantity I put in there. And our discount. And that seems reasonable. 10% of this is about let's see, 350. So if I choose that, that drops off. Let's say 350. Can't do math. I don't got a calculator here. 10% of that. Boy, that's bad. I'm having trouble with that. 359, I would think. That just doesn't seem. Oh, it's 10% off the 25.99. Okay, that makes sense. Now, if I do this, then instead of the $9.99 shipping, it'll be $4.99 shipping. Yeah, that all looks good. So the only thing I really saw is you didn't need that one line, but other than that, based upon what you have here, it looks good. The question was what problem was looking for. Not that one, is week before. No, not that one. Maybe the week before that. Okay, this one. Create a Windows application. Use the following names for the project and solution. Baxter, see. Okay, so the notice across top here says Form 1. So change that make to that. Does that change text to that to say Baxter's? The text box two buttons. Be sure to set the tab order. Now tab order, I didn't even check. Let me run it. To begin with, I don't know where my tab is, but I want it in this box here. And then when I click there, when I go here, it goes should go there, which it did. Should go there, which it did. There. So that's perfect. But I maybe want this set initially. Now, if you come here, you see there's a tab index of 7. So if I put 0 there, this one I'll put 1. That'll be my next place the tab will go to. This place I'll put 2. This one will do 3. And this one will do 4. So now if I run that, see how my cursor is currently in the order blank? So I can do 3, press my space bar, press my space bar. When I get to calculate, press my space bar, and it calculates it. So I don't even have to pick up my mouse. Let's see. Interface contains text box and Baxter sells 18 gold for $18.99 plus receives discount on 10% order, excluding shipping. Shipping fee is a flat rate of $9.99. However, customer shipping is $5.99. Sure. Procedures for the 2 checkboxes. Be sure to code it. Okay, now what they're indicating there, the check change procedures. Is when they click this, then you want to apply the discount. So after we put the order in here, that's curious. Why would you have a button? Okay, it's fine the way you have it with that there. But click calculate. Does this code right here? I know what you're talking about. The check changed. You come here. If you come over to your properties, so right click on it and choose properties. Go over to your events. So lightning bolt, and you see check changed. And when you double click on that, it brings up the code here, and you want to check to see if something's changed. But the only thing you could do is you could copy this code in both places. Now that's kind of redundant. So what you could do is you could copy all this into a separate subroutine. So public sub calculate amount. Then I'll copy all this code. So I'm going to cut it, I guess I should say. Paste it into calculate amount. Benefit of this is I can call calculate amount here. I can also call it on this check changed. Let's try that again. Calculate amount. Calculate amount. I think you already had a check changed up here somewhere. This one. So calculate amount. So now if I run this, put 5 in here. If I were to check that, it goes ahead and does my calculation here. If I do calculate, it gives me the same value. But now if I come over here and uncheck this, it automatically adjusts that. If I uncheck this, adjust that, or if I check, or vice versa, then it does that. So that's what they're talking about with that portion. Also code the inner key press and text change procedures for the text box. Don't worry about that part. But what you're talking about is you come over here and you program these different events over here. See how there's an inner? And I would call calculate amount from there. So if I start it, see we got a problem because there's nothing in the text box to begin with. And this is telling us that. Now you can get around that if you really want to program the inner. Inner is like your cursor goes in there. How you get around that is you put an if statement here. If txt quantity dot text equals, hopefully that's right, equals for Visual Basic, blank, then doesn't like something there. So it equals blank. Then I want to set my quantity to 0. else, I want this line of code you have right here. What will that just do? How did I duplicate that? There we go. Get there eventually. So when I came here, see how it didn't do anything? Now, it did charge me shipping on 0, but that's okay. I put 2 in there, and if I go back, see it figures that. If I were to leave that, the other things are asking us to program. We're just going to real overkill on this. Key press and text changed. So key pressed. And again, I'll choose calculate amount and text changed. I don't really like these this type of programming. We're going to program everything under the sun, but it does show you how you can do it. The reason why is if I put 3 in here, put 4, see how it automatically updates that, which is real fine, except if I type a letter, it blows up because I haven't programmed that. And sometimes I type in something wrong when I'm running an application. But anyway, that's how you would modify that to handle those different events. Okay, let me close that and create a new project. Windows Form App, .NET Framework, Visual Basic, that looks good. I'll click Next, then click Create. Chapter 7 is about string manipulation. And we got different functions involved here. Concepts covered, length property, the insert method, pad left, pad right, contains, index of, substring, character, remove, trim, trim start, trim end methods. Some of these I can program right off the top of my head. Some of them I have to look up exactly how to do it. Replace and like operator. Now our length. I'm going to have a text box on here. Where's my toolbox? Toolbox is there. Got my text box right there. And make that bigger. Font, make it even bigger so I can see it. 16. There we go. Button. Put that on here. Make it 16. And have the text of it say, do it. And then I want some answers, some forms. So I'm going to right click that and say copy, and right click down here and say paste. So it still has the same text properties, such as our font. We're going to be reading this in, so I want to give it a name. I'll call it TB for text box underscore string. And this one I'll call it TB underscore answer. Okay, so I'm going to double click this. Um, and bring in that what's in the text box. So I'll have a string. Um, I'll call it S. Not very meaningful. Doesn't like uppercase. How about lowercase? I'm thinking wrong programming language. Let's try it again. Dim S as string. I mix them together. S is equal to TB text box underscore string dot txt. I do not need to convert it to anything because the string is going into a string. And I need to get the length. So that'll be a dim length. I don't know if that's a reserved word, but hopefully it'll tell me. As integer. And then length is going to equal to s dot length. I want to write that out to the other text box. TB underscore answer dot text is equal to length dot toString. Like that. So this is going to retrieve the value from the text box. This is your function, your method for getting the length of the string, how many characters it is. It puts it into the variable length, and then I print length out to their answer text box. David, and click do it. It tells me there's 5. If I put Hayes on there, it should give me 9. Now, David Hayes. How numbering starts when we're talking about strings, it starts at the index of 0. So the D is position 0. That's position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for David Hayes, that goes from 0 to 8. Now, think what our length is. The length of this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So for looping, I'm going to go from 0 to length minus 1. Because if length is 9, then 9 minus 1 is 8. So it goes from 0 to 8. Now, let's say I'm going to count how many A's are in a string. So I want to loop through each one of the characters. Well, I need my for loop for int x equals 0, continue while x is less than length minus 1. Let me think about that. Less than. Now it should be less than or equal to, or I could say just less than length. And I'm not in Java. Quit programming in Java. Let's try that again. For x equals 0 to length minus 1. Do it doesn't like something. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I changed this because we're going from 0 to length minus 1. So the Visual Basic by default steps by 1. So this will loop through there. Now the question is, how do I access those? And a string is just an array of characters. So I can check if, and I don't need parentheses in Visual Basic, sx is equal, and I might have to do a dot equal, so I don't know, is equal to a. Then let me do something. What in the world did I just type? Let's try it again. S dot, not dot. Go to bed. Oh, it redid it that for me there. Well, S dot substring and starting index, which will be an X, and it will go a length of 1. It doesn't like that, so we do a dot equals. Programming another language is just really messing me up here. What is this doing? It's not another. Again, use another language. I apologize for that. This S dot substring picks one character off of it at a time. And so this starts at position X, which it starts at 0. That's the D in David. And then comma 1 means we're looking at it for one position. Now I'm gonna be exploring the substring here more as we go on. It's always challenging. Strings are challenging if you've never worked with them before. It's always best to write out like this and think through an example. So now I need to count for how many A's. So I come up here and count A. Count A is equal to 0 initially. And here, if it's equal to A, I say count A is equal to count A plus 1. Now I'm simply going to do a message box on this. Message box. And then count A. So again, this is going through it character by character. That's what that's doing. Now we're going to see a little bit different way of handling that. If I run that, I put in David Hayes. See, it returns by length of 9. It tells me there's 2 A's. Now if I put in this, I should get 5 A's. Tells me there's 5 A's. Now I'm not going to do a bunch of message boxes. Maybe I'll just keep adding items onto the screen here. So this one was my length. So we put a label in front of it. Length. This was the number of A's that we just did. Number of A's. Drop another text box on there. Where's my text box? There we go. And give this a name. Go TB number of A's. Then my code. Instead of doing a message box on it, I'm going to say TB number of A's dot text is equal to count A dot to string. Let's see. The insert method allows you to insert characters anywhere in a string. What do I mean by that? Actually, let me run that to show it still works. Should have 3 A's. So it tells me there's 3 A's. This is my string. Why does it do that? I should just be able to start typing and it place a text. Where's my S go to? Okay, and then I'm going to drop on another text box for a date. Then I'll put a label above it. Date and format a month, day, year. Now let me put that. Okay, so they're going to input this in here. Well, I'd like to format it such that there's slashes in there. So let's start with that. So I'm going to drop on a label here. And text of it, I'll say formatted date. And drop on another text box. This is where we put our answer, so I want to give it TB underscore formatted date. Okay, keep in mind what we got. Month, day, year. So I'm going to bring in my date in this form, like 10/28/1970. Let's try it again, 10/28/70. And I want that formatted. Well, let's think of positions here. This is 0th position, 1st position, 2nd position, 3rd position, 4th position, 5th position. Now I need to declare a variable to bring it in. Dim string date as string. And string date is going to equal to TB underscore. What did I call it? This is where I'm going to write it out to. This is coming in as text box 1. That's not good. TB underscore input date. Okay, so come down here. TB underscore input date dot text. Insert. Specified insertion and copy. Insert method does not affect the original string. Probably won't tell us format, but that's okay. No, it doesn't. I want to insert a slash in there. So I want 10/28/70. So string date dot. Now when I do an insert, it's going to guide me what to do. Now as I read that, it says function string, and it returns a string. See how it says as string? So I'm going to need to assign this back to my string date. But it returns a new string, my starting index, and then the value as a string. So where I want to put it at and what my string is going to be. So put a beginning parentheses. Think about where you want to put it at. I want to put it, I think, at position 2. I'm not very good at these. I'll be honest with you about that. And I want to put a slash in there. And I'm going to assign that back to string date. And maybe it has to be a 1. I don't know. 2 seems logical. Here's position 2, and if I put it there, hopefully it'll insert and shift that over, and I'll have 10/2870. Well, let's write that out now. TB text box formatted date equals formatted date dot text equals string date. Let's see if I'm even close. Okay, so here up at 10/2870. And it did put slash here. See how it inserted the new string and shifted everything to the right. Now it doesn't have to be a single letter. Now I want to also insert another slash. Problem with putting the slash in here first is it now shifted everything over. So what we currently got got 10/2870 like that. What we want is we want position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like at position 5, which is where the year starts, that's where I want my next slash. So I'll say string underscore date is equal to string underscore date dot insert. And I said position 5. Now, once you get it working, you don't need the example there anymore. But I always put the example there. It helps me wrap my mind around strings. Even then I get it wrong, but it's easy when you get it wrong. You just change that to like 6 or 4 as appropriate. I should fix my tab order. 10/2870. And didn't put my slash there. That's interesting. What did I do wrong? Okay, that should have put my slash in there. Oh, and I have that after this down here. Change is not allowed while it's running. Okay, you told me that before. So I should be after that. Okay, so 10/2870. And it puts that there. Now I'm going to show you even more formatting. Now I'm not even using the date functions here. So I'm just manually doing this. To begin with, when I bring in my original date, I want to pick off the month, day, and year. So I could have a dim month, day, year. Hopefully they're not reserved words as integers. Well, I do this with a substring. So this is my somewhat formatted date. Somewhat formatted date. This is going to be my really formatted date. So I'm going to have month. We brought a string date in, so keep that in mind. I brought it in right here. You would need to have that in down here if you didn't have this code here. But I need to bring in the date. The month is the first 2 characters. So I'm going to say string date dot substring beginning parentheses. Then my starting index is 0, and it's going to go for a length of 2. What am I talking about? 10/2870 position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm starting at position 0, which is right here, and I'm going a total length of 2. And that gives me my month. Now, unfortunately, month is an integer, and this is a string. So I need to convert that. And see if I remember how to do that. Dot parse or try parse. I don't remember. Say parse. Now day is going to equal to integer dot parse again. String date dot substring beginning parentheses. Now think about where your day starts. Day starts in position 2. So we're going to start in position 2 and go a length of 2. And year is going to equal to integer dot parse string date dot substring beginning parentheses. It starts at my year starts at position 4. It goes a distance of 2. Problem, and we'll talk about that, but problem is that we're assuming they're putting it in the correct format. There's much better ways of doing this. This just shows you the power of strings. Okay, now we'll do a dim month name as string. So down here, I'll do an if statement. And you can make the argument that a case statement is probably slicker in this case, and I won't argue that a bit. But I'll stick with my if statements because that's what I used to. Month is equal to 1. Then my month name is going to equal January. Else if month is equal to 2, then month name is equal to February. We'll also see the date functions that help quite a bit with this. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this will be March. April. May. June. July. August. September. October. November. And December. You might say, why don't you just have an else statement there? It's none of the above. It's obviously December. Well, what if they put an invalid value in? You know, then maybe I want to say else month name is invalid. Okay, now we're building this for a reason. We want to write out the formatted date back out to our blank. Now our blank is called something. It's called TB underscore formatted date. No, that's our previous format. I want a really formatted one. Okay, so change text to that to really formatted. Give this a name of TB underscore really formatted. So maybe I spelled it right. If I click one time in the gray area over here, I need to tell it to go ahead and Windows state. I think that's it. I want it to be maximized to begin with. That way I see more of the screen. Okay, so back to my code. Now that I've got the month name, I can say TB underscore really formatted date dot text equals month name, and then the concatenation. I think it's a plus, might be an and symbol. Space plus, and then my day. Now I'm going to convert this to string, so I do a dot to string because I'm concatenating it with everything else. Plus, then let me see, January this comma, then comma, space, plus, and then year dot to string. So let's run that. Okay, put David in here. Eventually fix my tab order 102870. Let's do it. Doesn't like something. So if I put my mouse over it, it'll show me what it's currently equal to. It's currently equal to 10/28/70. Aha! I've already formatted it, and so that's why it's doing that. Okay, so stop that. Easy way to do that is just retrieve the string data again. So go grab it in its raw format here. Well, no, I just wrote it out. Oh no, I wrote out different field. Never mind. Okay, so I'll go and get our input date again, and then we got string date that starts over. Okay, David 10/28/70. October 28th, comma 70. Now, usually a year isn't written that way. It's like a 4-digit year. Now, we could assume something. That's what they did back in the days of Y2K. And I'm going to do it here, but just realize that when you're programming, you never do this in real life. We're going to see that there's a better way to force them to put the date in the correct format. Here I could put on 2000. Now this is assuming they don't put in 1970. So you see the problem. I can put in 19. This is assuming they don't put in the year 05. Because then it says 1905. That was a problem with years way back when, is we just saved the last 2 digits. Well, what you can do, if I can find out where my definitions are. Dim formatted year as string. So then I check if year is greater than 50. I'll assume it should have a 19 in front of it. It's a big assumption. TB or formatted year, what do I call it? Formatted year is equal to 19 plus, and and then year dot toString, else formatted year is equal to 2000 plus year dot toString. Then, when I'm writing that out, instead of the year here, I want to say formatted year. Okay, so if I run that, David put 10, 28, 70, and puts 1970. And if I put 05 on this, it assumes 205. That's not good. Oh, because I'm writing it to a year. Okay. Well, I see a problem. This is, again, you don't always have it correct to begin with. The year, I probably want it to be a string. So let me think. Year, instead of doing an integer parse like that, I'm going to have it come in like that. I don't know where I declare year at. Here. Dim year as string. Okay, so let's see what else that breaks. So I'm bringing the year in like that. When I'm concatenating that on the front of it, I don't want to do a toString, though I think it probably would work. Like that. Okay, 10/28/05. 2005, that works. 70. 1970, that works. So this will work to the year 2050. So my program here will work fine for another 31 years, and then it'll break. It will not work. Y2K all over. Like I say, there's better ways of doing this than what I'm showing you here. I'm just showing you how to work with strings. Um, I'm not very robust. If I come up here and put 1970 in here, click do it. See how it doesn't even put the right year on down this point. But you see how to concatenate together. You see how to do a little bit more with strings. Okay, pad left. To align the characters in a string. The methods do this by inserting the string with 0 or more characters until the string is specified length. Each method then returns a padded string. Okay, let me bring in a number. I got a string, I got a date, bring in a number. So my label here, I'm going to have a number. Have another text box, bring that in with. I'll call this TB. Do I got a TB underscore number? Guess not. Okay, and then I'm going to bring out padded left and padded right. And text box. Change the text on that one. TV underscore padded left. This one. TB. Why am I saying TB underscore? Padded right. Now these I want to give names to. So this one I'll call TB padded left. And this one I'll call TB padded right. Okay, now we're ready to look at our code. Bring in a number. Padded. So I got a dim, let's see, in string, as string. This will be my number string. Number string is equal to TB underscore number dot text. Dot text is a string, and I'm putting it into a string. I'm going to say in string is equal to in string dot pad left. Now again, it tells you what to do. As you do your parentheses, it says you can either do the width. You can do the width and then a padding character. So I want this to be 10, comma, and I want it to be padded. It says character, so I'll put a single quote there. I want it to be padded with zeros. And I'll write that out. Acts like it doesn't like something, but I'm not sure if that's true. TB underscore pad left. Dot text equals in string. Boolean cannot be converted to character. Since when did in string become a Boolean? TB underscore padded left dot text. Value type Boolean cannot be. What do you mean? It's not Boolean. Maybe I can't have this here. 0. That's it. I'm mixing up other program languages. You put a single quotes for character. Put 3 in here for a number, and then click do it. Notice how I padded all these with zeros until it's the right length. And that's padded from the left. So padded from the right, I want to rebuild the in string by getting the number again. TB underscore number dot text. And in string is equal to in string dot pad right. And I want it to be 10 characters long. And I'm going to put a 0 on the right hand side. And then I'm going to write back out. So TB padded right dot text is going to equal to in string. Excuse me. I'll put 3 here. See how this puts the zeros on the right, left, this puts zeros on the right. Never really have used those before. I know what they're for, but where they'd be useful, I'm not sure. I guess right there. If you want dollars like that, so you want to have it formatted. Um, Contains an index of methods. These are ways of seeing if it contains a certain string. So let's look at the contains first. Then we'll look at the index of. So come over here, drop another label on here. And I'll call this text. I'll say contains David. And text box. Now this text box here, I'm going to call TB underscore contains David. Here I'm going to check to see if this string contains David. So I'm going to say if, I better bring it in. TBS name it as string. S name it is equal to TB underscore. What was my first blank called? Number, no, string. TB underscore string. Dot text. If S name it dot contains, that began parentheses, and then contains David. Then TB underscore contains David dot text equals yes, else it contains no. So keep that in mind, David. Okay. And date 10/28/70. I need to hard code those, so I have to keep entering each time. It says, yeah, contains David. Let's change that to an uppercase D. No, it doesn't contain it. That is part of an issue when you're working with strings, that uppercase D is not the same as lowercase d. If you look at your settings, if you look in ASCII chart, there are different values. Well, there's a way around that. And that's another one I want to show you is a feature called, well, it's just generally called case management. So changing case. That's probably somewhere in here. Don't know where, but oh, they don't even have it. That's not good. I mean, my goal isn't to show you every string function in here. I want to show you enough so you understand the kind of the concept behind it. But you'll find that there's other ones that are not listed here. Okay, so I want to bring in sname it as string. Then I'm going to say sname it dot or equals sname it dot to lower. What this will do is it'll put everything in lowercase. So now it's perfectly fine for me to check for the David. What didn't like about that? There was used before has been assigned a value. Oh, yeah, okay, I agree. That wasn't a good place to put it. Okay, so let's run this again, show what that does. If you're wondering, to upper changes it to uppercase. See how it says now found David? If I change these all to uppercase, in theory it should say no, but since I did a to lower, see how it still says yes? If I put these all lowercase, it still works. Now if I don't have the D there, Davy Hayes says no. That isn't in the PowerPoint, but that's one used pretty often, actually. That's what said it's not good. Now, index of returns the location of where that's at. For example, if I put in hello, David Hayes, like that. If I was looking for the location of David, then this would be 0th position, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. That's it. Oftentimes, if you get an example like that, you come over here and put ones here so people can see. That's 10, that's 11, that's 12, and that's 13. Okay, so what it should return, if I do the index of, and I'll just do a message box on this, it should return, if I come straight down below there, position 5. Now this helps you to pick off part of your string. But let me do a message box. Name it dot index of David. There we go. And since I'm getting tired of entering all this, what was David? Hello, David Hayes. Okay. So come here and I'll set this text to hello, David Hayes. I'll set this one, text on it to 10/28/70. Now I'll set text on this one to 3. Now I no longer have to enter those in. I just take those defaults. Okay. Position 5. Hello. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It starts in the 5th position. So if I did want to pick off from that position to the end of the line, I could. So if I want to get rid of the hello and just start it at David. It's a little bit tricky. Remember, the length is something. In this case, it goes 0 through 13, so that'd be a length of 14. Now, if I wanted to pick off David, I would want to start at position 5, but I don't want to hard code position 5. So I'm going to start at the index of David, also known as 5. And then I want to go to, and I'll have to play with this, the length, which is 14. You see a problem there? My length is 14, but David Hayes, this part right here, goes from position 5 to position 13, not 14. So this would actually be my length minus 1 or 13. Okay, so if I want to pick off, starting with David Hayes, I'm going to say message box and sname it dot substring. I want to start at index of David. Stop that. Index. I guess I got to sname it dot index of David. Close parentheses for the index of, comma, and then my length minus 1. Now that's not quite true. This is asking me for the length of it. Okay, I have to rethink this. Because the length of this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want it to return 9. Well, if I go to my length minus 1, which is 13, minus the position of D. 13 minus 5 is 8, so I'm going to add 1. So really what I want to do is I want to go to the length minus 1, which is 13. So it's 13 minus the position of David. So the index of David. Index of David is at 5. 13 minus 5 is 8, which implies that I need to add 1. Okay, now I'm getting a little closer. So I'm starting at the, what am I starting at? Substring. Okay, I'm starting at 5. That's perfect. Okay, comma. Here's where I need to change it. And then I'll put beginning parentheses, sname it, dot length. I think I need parentheses on that. Minus sname it, dot index of David plus 1. That should return David Hayes. Probably blow up. Build errors. No. Where's my build errors? See here it says 1 error expected, or parentheses. Not enough close parentheses at the end. Okay, hello David Hayes, click do it. 5. This means I got my numbers wrong. My length, if I put my mouse over that's 14. This right here, that should return 5. 14 minus 5 is, wait a minute. 14 minus 5 is 9. I don't want to do a plus 1. Okay. I'd like to just get strings right one time without having to correct it. 5 returns David Hayes. Now it doesn't even matter how many letters I have there. Like if I get rid of some, like that, load David Hayes, if I click this, it should return David Hayes. So sometimes you need to pick pieces of information off. Example of this is you have something coming in, your data's coming in all in one line. We haven't covered files yet, But you want to pick pieces off so you can write them to certain parts of the database, perhaps, out of that file. So that's how you pick off information. Seems overwhelming. Don't stress about it. The more you work with strings, the easier they get. And even then, you see, it still takes me a while to get them right sometimes. Okay, substring we looked at. We've been looking at quite a bit. Here's some interdivision modulus operator. Seems weird to throw in here. I'll let you read about that. Character array, that's where you're going looping through your string. Parentheses, that's how you do it. I was doing brackets earlier, I think. So if I want to loop through, counting how many A's there are, I can do what I did. This right here. Another way to do it, for x equals 0 to length minus 1, if s parentheses x is equal, I don't know if I need to do dot equals a, then count a equals count a plus 1. Now, after this for loop, let me just do a message box. I'm going to write it back out again. Now, we were using count A up here, so I need to set it back. Although I didn't write out count A until down here. That back with the first for loop. And here I'm doing a SHA and count A, but I need to set count A back to 0. Count A is equal to 0. So this is how you can access individual elements of the string. You don't have to do the substring. I was trying to do brackets like it is in some languages, but Visual Basic is different. 0, 5. It's nice. I have no clue what those are. Okay, let's try that again. Try 2. So count of A's is plus. I don't know if I can do a plus there or I have to change that to a string. I'll try that. Okay, it didn't like me mixing strings and integers together, so let me stop that. Since this is a string, I guess this has to be a string. So I do a dot to string. Now convert that to string. And then I should be able to concatenate them together. Count of A's is 0. That's obviously not right. 5, David Hayes. Okay. So let's see what I'm doing wrong then. If S okay, let S equal to TB underscore string up here. Or if I need to do single quotes. Or it could be I can't use a dot equals. Let's try that first. Didn't like that. Okay, so if Sx is equal to A, if I wanted you to correct that, I would tell you to. So stop correcting. Okay, so it's simply looping through the array, checking each one against A in theory. Number of A's is 2. Okay, so that's a correct syntax for that. So just another way to loop through an array of characters, which is a string. Here's a remove. You can use a remove to remove a specified number of characters located anywhere in a string. Very close to the insert. I'm not going to actually do that one. Trims, trim start, trim end. This gets rid of spaces. For example, if I come here, for my date, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put 5 spaces at the beginning, and click do it. Blows up because it's not expecting that. So what I can do, down here, when I bring that in, I can get rid of spaces. String date is equal to string date dot trim. And if you do the trim start, I'll get rid of spaces at the beginning. If I did a dot trim end, that gets rid of spaces at the end. Now, if you just want to get rid of spaces at the beginning and end, then what you do is string date is equal to string date dot trim. Now, you don't need all 3 of those in the program, but again, this gets rid of the spaces at the beginning, spaces at the end, and spaces at the beginning and end. So if I run that, somebody comes here and they're screwing around, and they put spaces before their date like that, it won't break my program. Click that, and maybe I lie. Oh, because I didn't put the trim down below too. I put the trim here, which is just fine, but then remember I brought in string date again. So each time I bring in string date, I'd need to get rid of those. Where did I bring that in at? I didn't see it. Control F. Search for that. Okay, I bring it in down there too. So down here, make sure that I wouldn't have any problems. I do string date is equal to string date dot trim. And again, that gets rid of spaces at the beginning and at the end. Come here and put spaces there. See, my program works fine now. Now, it would not work fine if you put spaces in the middle. So it doesn't handle that. If I put spaces there, it wouldn't know what to do. But that's what the trim does. Grab a drink here. Replace. This replaces a sequence of characters in a string with another sequence of characters. So if you want to replace all of your spaces with 2 spaces, you could. It's kind of like in Word, where you can do a find, you can do a replace. That's what replace does here. Like allows you to find something that's like it, so it's close to it. So you can put wildcards in there. Here's the like operator. I'm guessing, I'd have to read this closely, but it wants 3 uppercase letters first, and then maybe 2 numbers. Single digit in a pattern, use a number sign, a single digit in a pattern. Okay. But code to check digit, we're not gonna do that. Code to password. Generate random integers. Doesn't give you. That's fine. We're not gonna do that. Okay. Now pick some projects or one project to work out of there. If you want to do all of them that are over in MindTap, do that. The more you program, the easier it gets. You know, the ease of use. You saw me do this, even though I did fumble around some. This comes from working with strings over and over. Strings are a little bit weird at first, until you can wrap your mind around all the different ways to do it. I'll go ahead and stop the video there.